What's up, guys? Beer here back in the Fantasy Bar. 6 of my favorite plays for you for Week 11 on FanDuel and DraftKings. I got my favorite quarterback receiver pairing here for you. A cheap running back. I think you got to lock into some lineups. A potential under-owned play in the highest total game on the board. And my favorite play of the week. Who is it? Belly up to the Fantasy Bar and find out. Welcome back, guys. Week 11 edition Beers Daily Fantasy 6-pack. Good to be back here in the friendly confines of the Fantasy Bar. As always, 6 guys fresh off the tap for you, taking a look at FanDuel and DraftKings. But before we look at Week 11, let's take a look back at Week 10. And so some hits, some misses here. David Montgomery, Marlon Mack continue to be the bane of my existence. Every time we go that route, they disappoint in good spots, but did hit big with the Tampa Bay connection. Christian Kirk with a massive game. Kyler Murray continues to get better each and every week. So let's do better here. So let's turn the page on Week 10. Let's look to Week 11. And we'll start with our quarterback here. We're going to go with Josh Allen against the Dolphins. So 66 on DraftKings, 78 on FanDuel. I think what's going to happen here is he's close enough to some of the other studs on the slate that I think you're going to get minimal ownership in a great matchup here with Josh Allen. We haven't seen that massive big blow-up game that we had last season. I think this could be the spot where we get it against Miami. Was okay in the spot a couple weeks ago. I'm expecting more production here in this matchup. But all in all, been pretty good. Multiple touchdowns on the ground or through the air in 5 straight games here for him. And we know the Miami Dolphins terrible through the air against quarterbacks. 30th in DVOA against the pass so far this season. So I think Josh Allen probably checking in at sub 10% ownership in my opinion. And a great matchup. It'll be different to pay up. So you can be contrarian sometimes, paying up for a guy when other people are just going to go up and get the Watsons, Lamar Jacksons of the world. And I'm fine with that, no doubt. But in tournaments, you want to be different, which is what I'm looking to do. I'm going to do it with Josh Allen here against the Miami Dolphins. All right, who do we like with Josh Allen? Of course, his #1 wide receiver, John Brown. So 6,400 on DraftKings, good price at 5,900 on FanDuel. Continues to be one of the best values in all of DFS. When you get a guy like this under 6K there, I think you lock in loads. So if we're talking cash games, I think he fits the bill there, no doubt. Tournaments, I think there's plenty of upside. In this last matchup against Miami, 5 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown. So nothing to write home about, but solid numbers there that I think we can improve on. Miami, bottom 10 in the league against wide receivers. No Xavier Howard in that secondary. I think Buffalo needs to get a win here coming off that game in Cleveland. I think they do it in a big way. The pairing of Josh Allen, John Brown, my favorite here in Week 11. All right, I promised you a value running back. We're going to go to Atlanta with Brian Hill. So Hill will be a popular play, no doubt. Everybody saw what he did last week and should see a workload similar to what we saw last week. Saw 20 carries in that game, was involved in the passing game as well, caught a touchdown. I think the biggest thing here, you got to ask yourself, would you play Devontae Freeman in this spot? If you answered yes, then you play Brian Hill. If you answered no, then you stay away. I don't expect everybody to agree with this play or any of the plays. I'm just giving you my opinion here. And to me, I'm playing Brian Hill against this team. Only the Kansas City Chiefs have allowed more fantasy production to the running back position than the Carolina Panthers. So not ideal to be an underdog on the road, but with his involvement in the passing game here, if he's going to get anywhere close to that 20 touches, I want the volume here in this matchup. Under 5K on DraftKings, under 6K on FanDuel, going to help you get those studs in that lineup. I like this spot a lot for Brian Hill at the running back position. All right, let's go to the Tampa Bay New Orleans game. Going to be popular here this week, no doubt. But one guy that could fly under the radar, tight end Jared Cook. So we're starting to get signs of life here for Jared Cook, and it's about time. You know, it came to New Orleans. Everybody was excited about him in the preseason. Top 5, 10 tight end for a lot of people in season-long drafts, and we just haven't gotten the production that we've expected, but starting to get there. 10 targets last week. And why is that important? Drew Brees' first game back, he gets 10 targets. And I know they were playing from behind in that game, so some of it was garbage time, but did have touchdowns in the previous 2 games as well. So that shows me he's getting worked into the offense a little bit more. And we know Arizona, terrible against tight ends. So if Kittle is playing this week, you get him in there. But guess who's the second worst team against the tight end position? That's right, the Tampa Bay Bucks have also been horrible against the pass. I know Drew Brees is going to be popular here this week. I don't mind the pairing of Brees to Jared Cook to go a little bit different here. Go off the board. I think playable in all formats against Tampa Bay here in week 11. All right, let's go to the other side of that game. Go to the wide receiver position. Is it an Evans week? Is it a Godwin week? Hell, I don't know. Nobody knows. But I'm going to go with Chris Godwin here against New Orleans. So one of those things. You never know which guy it's going to be. I don't mind rostering both guys here in this game. But Godwin did just come off a big game against the New Orleans Saints a few weeks ago. 125 yards and 2 scores back in week 5. Highest total we have on the board, like we mentioned. So cash games, I think you want multiple pieces from this game. Now, both of these teams very good defensively against the run. So I would stick with the passing game options. If you tell me you're going Mike Evans, I'm good with it. I just think this is a week Chris Godwin can get it going here. He's coming off quite a few subpar games. I think people are going to get sick of paying that price without the production. We also have to keep an eye on the Marshawn Lattimore injury. If he's in, he's going to spend most of his time with Mike Evans. That's good for Chris Godwin. If he's out, that's going to move P.J. Williams to the outside, which kind of hurts Chris Godwin in the slot a little bit. But I think they'll do whatever they can to get Chris Godwin matched up with P.J. Williams, with some of the backups there in that secondary. So a big injury. Regardless, love this game. Love Chris Godwin here against the Saints. Pay the price. I think he bounces back in a big way here in week 11. All right, it's time to take a look at my favorite play on the week. Before we do that, guys, couple things. First of all, I need you to subscribe to the channel. Then you'll know when the videos are coming out. We got NBA videos as well if you're an NBA DFS player. And of course, our Yahoo video comes out every Thursday. So make sure you're checking that out. 6 more plays for you that I like for the week over there on Yahoo. So go check that out. Also, if you enjoy the video, guys, click that thumbs up button. That's the tip jar here in the Fantasy Bar, and I greatly appreciate it. And as a thank you, we're going to continue the Beast of the Week contest. Get in the comment section. Closest guess in fantasy points to my Beast of the Week is going to win a free week of RotoGrinders Premium. Gives you access to everything we have, or a free RotoGrinders t-shirt. Now, who are we guessing on? Let's take a look at my favorite play for week 11. You know him as the Beast of the Week. All right, Beast time. We're going to go back to the running back position to finish things up here. We're going to go out to Oakland with Josh Jacobs. Easily my favorite play of week 11 in this week's Beast of the Week. So Jacobs been outstanding here recently, averaging 23 opportunities. What does that mean? That means touches plus targets. So 23 opportunities per game over the last month of the season. Oakland, huge home favorites here. We know that's a very favorable spot to use our running backs. We're talking about a double-digit favorite here against a team that cannot stop the run. 29th in DVOA against the run are the Cincinnati Bengals. 5th most fantasy points allowed to the running back position. We've seen Josh Jacobs get more involved in the passing game. 5 targets in that last game. Very encouraging here, but looks outstanding. I think he scores multiple touchdowns here in this game. Josh Jacobs, easily my favorite play for week 11 in this week's Beast of the Week. All right, guys, that wraps up for week 11 in the Fantasy Bar. Any comments, questions, feedback, guys, hit that comment section right below the video. Beast of the Night points. Let's go with DraftKings here for Josh Jacobs. Whoever's closest, gonna win a free week of RotoGrinders Premium or a free RotoGrinders t-shirt. Guys can also follow me on Twitter at Beermakersfan, and make sure you get over to RotoGrinders and check out more expanded thoughts on the slate with the DFS OGs podcast Head Chopper. Notorious and myself going game by game on the main slate, 1 hour covering every game, every player on the slate, anyone you're going to need in those lineups, so make sure you check that out as well. For RotoGrinders.com, I am Beer saying salut. Best of luck, guys. Appreciate you watching. Check that Yahoo video out tomorrow, and good luck in week 11.
Hey, thanks for checking out our videos. If you want more expert advice on DraftKings, FanDuel, or any other daily fantasy sports, make sure you check out the current videos playlist